What's going on, everybody? Dylan Napoleon with Cage Side Press. Today is my very first interview with the company, joined today by Juan Archuleta, a professional bantamweight boasting a professional record of 29-4. He is the current RIZIN bantamweight champion and a former Bellator bantamweight champion. Juan Archuleta, how you doing today, man?
What up, brother? I'm doing good. Thanks for
Good,
having
good.
me on.
Oh, absolutely, man. I know you're getting ready for another upcoming fight in December, New Year's Eve. How's the excitement like? What are you feeling, a couple weeks out?
Oh man, I'm so excited. It's like I've been able to be super active this year, which is awesome
Yeah.
because obviously after the Stotts fight, I wanted to get back in there because it was like, that ending shouldn't have happened, but it happened for a reason. And the reason was to have, five fights within like a year and like 3 months of a calendar year. I mean,
Right.
I'm about to be on a five-fight win streak and it's amazing. It's just like when things get really bad, something great's about to happen, and that's what happened. And so now I'm the rising champion, getting ready to defend against Kai Asakura. Super pumped.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I was going to mention this fight is your fourth in this calendar year. Super impressive. All four in Japan, too, which, adds a lot to you. The hustle to get out there, the trek to Japan and back each time. It's a little bit more than just a fight, right?
Yeah, it's a little bit costly,
Yep.
financially, and then but the payoff is taking the family to see a different country, right, and
Yeah.
being able to be around a different genre of people, a different culture, different ethnicity, and being able to take that in, just showing my kids the world, like this is why I do the sport, is
Yeah.
to be able to provide them opportunity and to travel and to see cool shit.
Yeah.
So super cool. I'm super blessed, and Ryzen has been paying dividends for me, and it's been amazing.
I'm glad to hear that. I know one of your, I think it might have been your last trip out to Japan. I remember seeing a video of you and your son going up to on top of like a special unique mountain, if I'm not mistaken, out in Japan, right? Was it something along the lines of that? You guys were
Um,
some of the few people that made it up to this place, I
yeah,
think.
so what we did was it was actually last New Year's. We went to Tabayama. It
Yep.
was in Japan, and we were actually going to go there this year. I was talking to the people there, and they're super excited to have me back out. But yeah, we got to pull. It was inviting the New Year in, and what they do is they write their New Year resolution or what they call their wishes on this tree that they chop down. They make a big sled out of it,
Wow.
and each side they have like 100 yards of rope on each side for two rows of people, and the whole
Mm-hmm.
town gets together and they pull this sled up this mountain. They drink sake. They eat a bunch of traditional food that's amazing, and they give out gifts. They from a building they throw out food and candy and
Wow.
things for the city, and like they have traditional dancing there. They have like people dressed up. It's one of the coolest things I've ever done. So
Yeah,
I'm
man.
looking forward to doing that this time again and being more part in. I was the first American to go up there and do that ceremony with them, and
Wow.
so they're excited to have me back because some of the wishes I wrote on that sled was to be the rising champion, to unify the belts with Bellator and Rising, and so I'm one step away from doing that. First and foremost is going to defend, and then hopefully cash in the next check, which is
Yeah.
against the Bellator, the PFL title.
That's amazing, man. Yeah, that was a lot of that was way more deep than I had thought it was. I thought it might have been just like a monument or like a park or something. That's super cool. So I'm glad, that's something a lot of kids don't get to experience. Your kids are going to be very thankful and happy to have that a part of their lives. I mean, you're the first person I've ever met to be a part of that. Like you said, the first American to make it up there. That's super cool.
Yeah, definitely. The people were awesome. I mean, the cool thing about traveling and kind of being open minded and not being timid to meet new people, right, is like they want to show you their culture. They want to show you the history of what they believe, and they're
Yep.
excited to do it. They want to show you what they believe in, their customs and things like that. And if you divulge yourself into it and kind of just like open heartedly take in what they're trying to show you, you get to see cool stuff. You get to be part
Absolutely.
of like the stuff that's been around for thousands of years and things like that. So it's super cool to see.
Yeah.
I'm a huge history buff, so anything that has to do with history, I love.
That's awesome, man. I'm definitely gonna have to make it out there sometime, especially with RIZIN being out there. Hopefully, one day I'll get to cover a card out there. Now, I want to ask you a little bit about your opponent, Kai Asakura. He's no stranger to the RIZIN scene. He's been there for a while. You know, he's fought a bunch of RIZIN fights. He took Kyoji Horiguchi out. You know, he was fighting him out there, and he does present a super exciting fight. I'm excited to see you guys get after it, and you know, go after it. What were some of your initial analysis like when you got the call to fight Kai?
Yeah, I've been wanting to fight Kai for a while. Like for me, I love fighting guys on momentum, like guys that have, like when I fought Patchy, when I fought Patricio, when I fought Dantes, when I fought Corral, just a lot of
Yeah,
these guys that I fought were a lot of guys that had momentum going into that fight. And because I want to fight the best, I'm not here to just, take a fight and then just say I'm a fighter, right? I do
right.
this to be the best and to challenge myself. Um, and so when originally I was calling out Kai is because at that time he was the best in the RIZIN. And so then circumstances played out where we were like pretty much in this like little bantamweight tournament, and then and we were trying to fight for the title, and then he got hurt and he had to pull out, and so now I'm defending my title against him, and so I'm super excited for that because it's someone that I've wanted to fight, someone that I knew that brings challenges to my style, and
Right.
I want to show that I'm capable to slay the dragon, so to speak. I'm
Yeah.
going out there to challenge myself, test myself, and know that I still have it, and hopefully put them away. That's ultimately what I want to show in this fight is going back to putting people away and grinding them out. So that's the goal in this fight, and that's been on the frontal lobe of my brain, and I've been pushing forward since.
Absolutely. I'll talk to you about the training camp and stuff like that in just a little bit. But I know the bond that you've created with the Japanese MMA fans is undeniable. You have a special place in their hearts, and I know they do yours too. What is
Yeah.
it like going out there, spending quality time with these people each time you go? I know every time you go, you're out there for at least a couple weeks.
Yeah, it's going to be hard to fight in America again, because I mean, you go out there, you're fighting in no less than 20,000 people, 30,000 people. Hopefully
Yeah.
this one's projected to be like 30 to 40,000 people. So to be in a sold out arena, be the main event, and you're fighting in front of people that are very appreciative of martial arts, understand martial arts, and gave birth to martial arts. It's humbling. It's like one of the first biggest events in the world came from Japan, and they
Yeah.
gave birth to us and gave us a platform to be able to compete on, to show whose martial arts is supreme and reigns supreme. And so to go out there and be part of that, I mean, it's definitely crossed off my bucket list. It's
Yeah.
going to be hard to come back and fight in front of a different crowd.
Yep. And your life has changed quite a bit. Obviously, you know, nothing crazy. Of course, it's just another addition part of your life. At one point, you were, a big Bellator name, and that's really what was riding for you. Now you have a big Bellator name, Bellator and PFL, and of course, a RIZIN name too. How has your life changed? How has, the name Juan Archuleta changed since becoming a big name in Japan?
Yeah, it's becoming a household name out there, and people, it actually just shows itself. I believe I've given breath back into martial arts there in Japan. They were kind of trying to do these one-offs and trying to do these celebrity fights and things like that, and it wasn't really catching until Bellator had came out there and did the Bellator versus RIZIN. And then when I stuck around and talked to fans and told them what my future goals were, and fighting the best out there and making real martial arts real again, not
Yep.
having these guys that are in each other's face just for the cameras to show off and then make it a grudge match or whatever. This is true martial arts that I brought back to Japan. And so fans are truly excited to see that, when
Yep.
I fought Naoku, or actually Sucho Kim, that was a great fight. It brought fans excitement. And then when I fought Naoku Inoue, fans were just ecstatic the way that we had grappled and intertwined our stand up back into wrestling, back into grappling. It was a back and forth match, and it breathed life back into MMA there. And then fighting Hiromasa, and now going into fighting Kai, kind of like a new age MMA fighter. People are very excited and they're tuning in, and the organization is ramping up. Saki Kabara is like really pouring back into the promotion and really want
Yep.
to make the best fights possible. So I hope I continue to be the first of a lot to come. And first and foremost is going to be taking out Kai. And then now that I'm the first American champion, I want to be the first fight that's out there that's champion versus champion in the 145 and the 135 fight, you know?
Yeah, that's awesome. Big things to come. Obviously, this is your fourth consecutive fight in Japan. This is the fourth one in a single calendar year. 2023 was a huge year for you. What do you believe helped you be so consistent, so active, this past year?
First and foremost is my family, right? Like my wife being very supportive, and her dreams are my dreams, and my dreams are her dreams, and so she wants the best for me, and wants the best for us, and wants the best for our family. So the support that comes out of that is tremendous, you know. And then secondly, the coaching staff that I have: Sam Calavita, Paul Herrera, Tiki Gosen, Ruben Valencia, Felipe Del Monica.
Yep.
These guys have been keeping me safe throughout the year, but at the same time pushing me to the extreme and challenging me, you know, making me be uncomfortable, making
Yep.
me work my ass off, showing up every day in the gym, knowing when to push hard, when to pull back. And so I dedicate a lot of that to them, because without all their the community that I have behind me, it wouldn't have been done. And then lastly is the promotion, right? Like Scott Coker obviously taking a chance on me on fighting out there and letting me stay out there to go capture the title. And
Right.
then RIZIN giving me the ability to have these opponents, putting me out there on their platform, letting fans fall in love with me, and just being able to go out there and perform. I mean, all that in unison is just it became easy to do, you know.
Yeah, definitely. And now when you fight in Japan, you get to represent Spain, you get to represent the USA. How special is that to you, being able to represent these two countries and also the Japanese fans too, because they take so much pride in you as well?
Yeah, definitely. You know, it's all about lineage with martial arts, right? Like every martial artist has a lineage. Some people don't know who had taught them, their coaches throughout the way, and the coaches before them, and the coaches before that. It's similar to my ethnicity, right? Like I'm an American first and foremost, and I don't get that twisted. Like, but being American, you have split ethnical backgrounds. You know, with me, I come from Spain. My mom's side comes from Mexico. My other dad's side comes from is a native, and my other mom's side is native as well,
Right.
Apache. So, you know, I get to represent that. I get to show that when I fight. We don't get to choose who we are when we're born, but we get to choose to represent that and be proud and show that this is my bloodline. I'm paying homage to the people that came before me, like it or not. This is who I am, and I'm gonna choose to represent that.
Definitely. I like that a lot. Having pride in where you come from is super important in this game. Of course, it's special to represent yourself. Now, I want to ask you a little bit about your training camp. I know you brought in Kyohei Hagiwara, if I'm not mistaken, the pronunciation there. How beneficial was it having him around?
Yeah, I mean, it's super cool, right? Like just giving back to the Japanese martial artists. Like you know, he's not a standout fighter. He's good. Don't get me wrong. He's fought in great guys. He's fought in all their champs. Came close to beating them, and he just was always coming up a little bit short. So when I met him out there, he wanted to come out to California and train, and I was like, yeah, anytime, anytime. And then he, you know, told me multiple times. Well, after his last loss, he's like, hey, can I come out? I'm like, yeah, come out and train and see what it's like, what my training camp's like, you know,
Right.
because I have an open door policy. I have nothing to hide, you know. And so when he came out, he's just blown away, you know, he's just blown away by the amount of work we put in. And, you know, I know at first it didn't make sense to him, but now he's starting to see the picture like, oh man, like it does take a lot to be a champion. It does
Yeah.
take a lot to be the top 1% in the world with fighting, you know, but it takes a community to do that. You can't be solo, right? There's no self-made martial artists here. It all takes a community. It
Yep.
takes a bunch of people to pour into you, their time, their effort, their belief system. And so he's seeing that now, and hopefully he gets to take that back to Japan and continue his walk down the road of martial arts.
Absolutely. And now touching upon your home Bellator, where you really first made your mark and got things started. there was a long period of rumors about the PFL buying Bellator. Obviously it all came true and everything was what was rumored. When those rumors were going around, did you have a little bit of sense of, I guess, peace of mind knowing that you had RIZIN, job security, stuff like that?
Yeah, I had a little peace of mind, but in the back of the head, I knew, I knew something was going on behind the scenes. Uh, the moment I got told that when I fought here in Long Beach against what's his name, the Peruvian kid that I fought in
Enrique,
October,
was that
Enrique
Barzola? Yeah.
Barzola, yeah, Barzola. And then they told me, hey, you want to fight in Japan? And I thought, I was like, something's going on, like something weird's going on. So I took the fight, and then throughout that whole time, I said, hey, can I fight in Bellator again, or like what's going on? And they're like, oh, you're with RIZIN right now, like you're in a tournament, and I'm like. I'm like in a tournament, or I am in a tournament. They're like, no,
Right.
you got to win your next fights to win the title. Like you're fighting for the title there. And I was like, oh, that's strange. I was like, all right, like cool. Like at least I'm good,
Right.
but I knew something in the background was happening, just like a sixth sense.
Yeah.
And no, for me, I thought RIZIN was gonna buy it. I thought RIZIN and Bellator were gonna be
Yeah.
promotions, and
Me
I was like,
too,
this is gonna be
honestly.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I thought that's what I was there doing. So I was like, all right, well, I'll play my card and I'll promote myself and Bellator as much as we can out here, and I did. I did that to the full of my extent. But obviously, it benefited me in the long run. And then with PFL coming in and swooping in and hearing the rumors, it was like, man, how is this going to play out? And still to this day, I still don't know how it's going to play out. Like,
Right.
I've texted Don Davis a couple times. He's texted me back, and it's been kind of short and stuff. And he's just like, "Oh, we got some big plans in the next year, big fights." It's like, hey, man, like I was guaranteed a title fight though. Like I was
Hmm.
guaranteed the next fight after Sergio and Patchy. Like, is this still happening? Like, I want to know. Like, because I have the right to know. Like, I'm on a 4-fight win streak, about to be 5. Patchy's on a 6-fight win streak. Why wouldn't this fight happen? You're
Right.
talking about giving Stotts or Sergio Pettis the refight, but how are they going to get a refight when they're on a 1-fight win streak and Sergio just lost? Like, I didn't get my rematch with Sergio right away. So why
Right.
should he? He got finished. I
Yep.
didn't even get finished by Sergio. With Stotts, you could kind of make the thing, oh well, he's finished you, but yeah, but he got finished by Patchy. Patchy also finished Magomedov. He finished Sergio.
Right.
He didn't finish KOG, and I beat him. So like, what's the bigger fight to make? And I have the RIZIN belt, and
Yeah.
so he just kind of brushed it off, and it was kind of strange to me. So I get to play my card. I'm the
Yeah.
champ, and I get to go out there and defend this title,
That's it.
and and I get to let my manager do what he does best, because
Yeah.
Tiki's one of the best managers out in the game right now, and he's a boutique manager, but he does the right things, and he makes sure that I'm taken care of as his fighter.
Yeah. So now that the PFL has your Bellator contract, I would assume, how many fights are left on that contract? Do you know?
No, I don't, because I'm up for basically renegotiation with my RIZIN fights being taken into play.
Right.
But right now, I know my manager has that set up, and I know they're in the talks of whatever may play out.
Yeah.
First and foremost is winning and staying champion, because when you're champion, that's when the big bucks come, and that's when you get a little more leeway on your negotiations.
Yeah. Yeah. You never know. Big things happen. Who knows? Maybe one day you'd be only fighting for RIZIN or stuff like that could play out too. That's always something with a guy like you, especially with the champs versus champs. There's not too much going on. The PFL really doesn't have too many of their own bantamweights. It would be all pretty much Bellator bantamweights, and there's a lot of things that have to get worked out with some of those divisions that don't have too much depth on the side of the PFL.
Yeah, for sure. And that's what's crazy. We're like, I could fight at 145, I could fight at 155, I could fight at 135. I just like to fight, honestly, when it
Hmm.
comes down to it. Throw someone in there that's going to be very challenging for me to beat, and I'm going to go out there and try to beat them, and I'm going to do my best to do it. So that's what's cool about me. I could play my field, and I could play it well. And at the end of the day, look, I've won a belt in every promotion I fought for,
Yep.
and I'm going to continue to do that. And, you know, on paper, people might not recognize that, and people might be like, "Oh yeah, like whatever. You're not even in the top 10 and ranked in the bantamweight division across the board." It's like, yeah, but what other bantamweights have won a title in every organization they fought for? You can't really name them,
Fair
you
point.
know.
Yeah.
Not just that. It's like who has came off of two title losses and then had built their way back up to be a champion. You can't
Yeah.
really name anyone that's done that either, you know. And so I continue to show my worth and my value and bring a badass fight every time I come, and I fight with my heart, and I fight with my heart on my sleeve, you know. And I'm gonna continue to do that until my career is done.
Couple last questions for you here. Now, you always, I guess I could say fans know what they can expect from a guy like you, Juan Archuleta. You know, you bring it every time, always giving your best foot forward. But this time you're going out to Japan with your first ever RIZIN title defense on the line. How does that play out? How do you feel? You know, what should the fans of Japan expect for you this time around?
Yeah, they're gonna expect me to have go out there and have fun now. Like the monkey's off my back, you know, so to speak. You know, like I
Right.
said, I'm on a 4-fight win streak right now. I've got my title back, and now I get to take a breath of fresh air and just go have fun, just go perform now. Now it's not about building myself back up. I'm built now. I'm ready to defend. I'm ready to go out there and have fun. I'm ready to go put pressure on someone and watch him break. You know, the burden's on him. You know, he's stepped out of so many fights that he should have taken. Even the last fight, we all fight hurt, you know, and he was
Right.
complaining about being injured. But you know, I had the same 8 week turnaround that he did. So you see the colors and you see who he is as a fighter. He's going to push. Obviously, he's still going to go out there and fight his ass off, just like I am. But you know, the fans are going to expect a fun fight from me. I'm going to go out there and just have fun. Like I'm going to let it fly, and I'm super excited for that.
That's it, man. Well, Juan Archuleta, that answered all my questions all in one. I had two left for you, but you got it done right there. So, hey, man, I appreciate the time. Looking forward to New Year's Eve. Like I said, it's starting to become a New Year's Eve tradition for a lot of people to start, you know, watching you fight. This is the second one in a row, and my New Year's Eve used to be going to parties and getting
Hey,
drunk and stuff like that. But now it's all about
yeah,
watching RIZIN on the past 2 years, watching RIZIN on New Year's Eve. So thanks for
hell
what you
yeah.
do, man. You provide a lot of fun for us people out here, you know.
Well, I appreciate it. It's going to be very entertaining. So get ready to pop the bottles and yell kung pie when I defend this title, baby.
That's it, brother. Well, hey, I wish you the best next couple weeks. You got about 3 weeks leading up to the fight. Hope safe travels, everything like that, and hopefully
I
we can run
appreciate
it
it.
back after you defend your title for the first time.
Oh, yeah. After I knock this dude silly, Dylan, I'm going to hit you up. We're going to do this again.
You're the man, Juan. Hey, have a great couple weeks. I'll talk to you soon.
All right. Take care.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah.